Hello and welcome to Connected episode 243. It is made possible this week by our sponsors Backblaze, Squarespace, and Pingdom. My name is Stephen Hackett and I am joined by Mr. Myke Hurley.
Oh, what a great week it is. It's one of the good ones.
Who is going to be first at WWDC? That's 3 episodes away. That's 246, so that'll be Federico.
Oh, no, that's good.
Go.
That's good.
Oh,
because
so
I
you're
want to
last.
come out last. Get the big cheer.
Look, we're gonna walk out together.
I was going to say, I'll probably just introduce you at the same time.
You'll still have to say my name second, though. Everyone will then cheer, and it will sound like it's all for me.
Or I use your celebrity couple name.
Which is?
I don't know. What would y'all's name be?
Don't know.
Matici.
I like that, actually.
Metici?
With a Y, all Ys.
All Y. Oh, that's really good.
Oh my God. No, that's awful.
MYTYCCY.
That's awful.
Right.
That reads like my teachy.
I like that even more, though.
It's good.
Oh, well.
And we also have, of course, Mr. Federico Vitici.
Yes, hi. Terrible week. Going second.
The predominant half of the celebrity couple.
Wait,
If you like to think so.
why is that?
There's more of his name in it than your name.
But I've put Ys all over the place, though.
He has more Y's, yeah.
But when we changed it to Ys, I think I took over.
MYTYCCY. Y'all, I think you have. There's more of Mike's letters in there. Sorry, Federico.
Yep.
So this is what we do now on this program.
This is what I'm like as a person. Like at first, it's just like a little bit, and then I like infect you. You know, like
You've described a virus, is what you've described.
That's what I'm like. Because as a friend, I am basically a virus.
It's good that you think this of yourself. It's reassuring.
Look, I am a firm believer in knowing yourself.
Sure.
And then you can get along in life. I know myself. I know who I am.
Sure. This is what you get when you do meditation with Headspace. They tell you that you're like a virus. Yes. I'm pleased that it worked on you, Myke.
I don't like Headspace. I have no problem with Headspace. My problem is with the Headspace guy. But it's all been cleared up for me since we got AirPods. I've complained in the past, right, about the Headspace guy. That like Adina would listen to the same things all the time.
The monk?
Oh, I don't know. He's like a British
monk.
guy.
He's a retired monk or something.
Okay. But he's always talking about chairs or whatever. It annoys me. But two things happened.
Follow up.
Hold on, this is more important.
Adina got a subscription, so she stopped listening to the same small clips all the time. And then she started wearing her AirPods in bed, so now I don't have to hear it at all.
She's a Headspace Pro now.
She is.
Until she takes her AirPods out and leaves them on the kitchen counter, naked and alone.
Yep.
I'm going to talk to her about that when I see her this summer.
Yeah, we're going to have a talk.
She knows that I shame her on this show, but she doesn't care.
Because she doesn't listen to the
Oh,
show.
man.
I tell her, I was like, I
problem.
spoke about it again, but she just doesn't care.
I feel like our next connected shirt should just be like a table with AirPods on it.
Oh, that's good.
And no show branding, just says, don't do this.
That's good.
It's good.
Or like a t-shirt with a pocket on it and the 2 AirPods are just poking out of the top.
Oh, that's
Oh my
good
God.
too.
Who does that?
Hey,
Not even Adina.
hey, Cylinder, call Cotton Bureau.
Call like you speak to them on the phone.
Yeah, we have like the Batman red phone kind of situation with Cotton Bureau.
Yeah,
They're
we have
just ready at a
special
moment's
access
notice.
that you don't have.
Yeah, the T-shirt signal. Yeah.
The t-shirt signal. Okay, let's save ourselves and talk about iTunes.
Oh my God. No. Moving on.
Okay, moving
Today's
on.
show is brought to you by. You can do follow-up.
Just going to skip
Come
over
on.
iTunes.
Let's get it over quickly. Come on.
According to 95 Mac, the new standalone music app on macOS will be AppKit, not... I thought we talked about this. Did we talk about this? Anyways.
Yeah, well, it's yes and no. So, like, basically at first, with the first round of, like, leaks, 9to5 Mac reported that iTunes would become music, right? Which was going to be Marzipan.
Yes.
And then Mark Gurman said it's going to be a standard Mac program, whatever that means. And now 9to5 have put out a secondary report saying that they have since clarified what they know.
Sure.
Everybody's clarifying something.
Well, now I'm clarifying for them. And now it's going to be a standalone music app, but it's based off of iTunes, because a lot of people are saying that it basically is iTunes, but they're saying that it's like a new application with some of what iTunes has.
Okay.
We're just trying to like close the loop here.
I really like this era we're in of dueling Mac rumors. When it was just Gurman at 9 to 5, and his reporting was outstanding, but now you have like Gurman versus 9 to 5, and it's very exciting to see them kind of like either agree or, more interestingly, disagree with each other. So
I think it's I think it makes sense not to make iTunes like the music app for the iPad, in the sense that the people who use iTunes, they are accustomed to certain features, advanced features that you don't have on iOS. So I think to sort of ease the transition, because some iTunes features are going to be new Marzipan apps, but the music stuff, I feel like the people who manage their music libraries really care about these advanced options.
I think it's a shame, because my hope was that
yes,
they were going to have to make the music app a Marzipan app and make it really freaking good.
That was what I was getting at. That this makes sense, but I'm disappointed because it likely means that we will not get all these features, smart playlists and just being able to import MP3 files with drag and drop on the iPad. Because the idea was, if you're gonna have to do this on the Mac, well, at this point, why not also do the work on the iPad? But if they're gonna keep it a standard Mac program, which is an excellent definition,
it's my favorite phrase now.
The Mac program.
I don't know why he said program. I don't know why he did that.
It sounds businessy. It's this is a program. It's not an app. It's a program. That's when business gets done. But yeah, so I guess it likely means that the music app for iOS will not get the advanced music management options from the Mac, which is a shame because it's about time. At least the smart playlists and being able to import music files, because I'm paying for Apple Music, and one of the features of Apple Music is iCloud Music Library, but that functionality is effectively absent from iOS.
Yeah.
So,
I wonder if this is just a stopgap until they can get the UIKit app more features. If say that they were working on this for a while and they said, we can use this for a little while, but eventually we'll transition, because it doesn't make any sense long term for this to be the plan. You've got to make the iOS version better,
right? If they're still moving forward with a non-Marzipan version, that doesn't look good for what they would need that application to do in the light of Marzipan.
Right. Exactly.
Right? That's not a good thing, right? It's a bad thing. It's actually pretty bad for Marzipan, where they're like, oh, we'll just keep making a standard Mac program instead.
Yeah. But it's also bad if they did, say they took the music app off the iPad now and plopped it onto the Mac. A lot of music users would be upset that, Marzipan ruined this application. That, iTunes wasn't great, but it had all these features, and Marzipan apps are baby apps. It also avoids that argument. So I could see why this makes sense for now.
what if it's all a conspiracy to remake iTunes as an AppKit program that is, however, terrible, so that everybody starts wishing for iTunes to become Marzipan?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the conspiracy. You heard it right here first.
I like this.
And you guys wanted to skip over iTunes. Come on.
Come on. Now we've got conspiracies.
Up next, we have the Powerbeats Pro. We spoke about their launch in the US last episode, and now we have some information about its international rollout. So later in May, whatever that means, Powerbeats Pro will be available in the United Kingdom, France, Germany, and then a bunch of other places in June, including Italy. So it looks like by the end of the summer or midsummer, both of you will be able to order these. But I imagine that you will still buy them in California.
Yeah, joke's on Apple, because I'm going to buy them in San Jose. So
Is that a joke on Apple?
well, it is for me. It is.
Okay.
So that's what they get for postponing the Italian launch to June.
It's also assuming that they are available in stores, because right now, at least, they are still...
They would be for me.
Wow.
Don't worry.
They are still pretty back-ordered. I'm looking right now, and pickup for the black ones is still June 17th at my store.
Not a problem for me. I'm going to say I came from Italy just to buy this device. Why don't you give it to me?
What's wrong with you? I came all this way for this.
I booked a trip just to buy these headphones.
They told me they would be here.
You do have a tradition of buying audio products on our summer trips, so it's time.
Exactly.
Because you bought some Beats headphones 2 years ago. Last year, you bought 4 HomePods.
No, that was the same year.
Was it the same year?
HomePod and the Beats headphones in the same store.
Yeah, the first time was he bought an iPad.
That's right, at the old company store.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That was a fun day. We have some sad news if you were super into the Warren Buffett game. It has been pulled from the App Store unless you are in the United States. So it's available in the U.S. App Store, but not international stores, apparently for no reason that people can understand.
I think it's because of us. I think they're punishing us.
I think we killed it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I've heard from so many people, like, over the last week or so, be like, Warren Buffett's a nice guy. I'm sure he is. But the whole thing's still hilarious. That was, honestly, I don't know. It's a bit uncouth to talk about this on your own show. That's one of my favorite connected segments of all time.
It's pretty good.
The whole Warren Buffett thing. Because again, the only reason I know this is because for the last week or so, people have been sending us clips from Overcast.
Yeah.
Which I love this feature so much in Overcast because I get to hear all the things that people like. And there were lots of clips from the Warren Buffett segment.
Look, Warren Buffett is maybe a nice guy. I think his wildly out of control ego is the problem here. So
we've established this already. Nice guy, big ego. It's fine.
He's lovely, but his ego is a bit of a problem. I mean, he had a game made for himself.
Remember I said about the guy writing open letters? That's Carl Icahn, not Warren Buffett.
Oh yes.
That's an important
That's the guy
clarification.
who likes to write letters.
They just dilute it all and give it back to
That's
the
the
shareholders.
guy. That's the guy that people call a serial investor. Is that the guy?
He's really into breakfast food.
Oh, wow.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Can I read something for Joe over at Macro wrote this article?
You cannot. You've lost the right to speak on these podcasts.
That's difficult for a podcaster.
That is.
You've put me in a bad spot.
That's going to make everything a little bit more tricky.
This paragraph was so perfect. Given that Warren Buffett's paper wizard only takes minutes to complete, and that Buffett's high score of 15,350 is seemingly unbreakable, the game appears to be little more than a short-lived novelty. As such, it is not at all that surprising that the game has already been pulled internationally.
So,
I want to issue a challenge, and we'll talk about challenges later on. Challenges are very important now. I want to issue a challenge to connected listeners. Someone has to beat Buffett's score.
I want to bet it's impossible. Like, I would bet money that the game is programmed so that you cannot beat that high score.
That is a perfect score plus 100 or something, right?
Because we've already
Yes.
established Warren Buffett has a big ego. So, of course, his score is unbeatable. Mr. Face
Come
of
on,
Diet
this
Coke.
guy.
Was it Coke Cherry or something? It was. That was.
This is
brilliant.
the same guy that had a Coke made for him in China and had Bill Gates play ukulele at his party or something. Like,
I want to see someone beat Warren Buffett's score or the closest to it. That's what I want to see.
So tweet those with the hashtag #BeatBuffett, and we'll see him.
Oh yeah, hashtag beat Buffett. I love it.
that could be misinterpreted, maybe.
Well, it's like a food music thing. The beat buffet.
The
No one likes beats. Okay. That's some follow-up, but we have some tiny topics, some little items to discuss. But first, I want to tell you about our first sponsor. This episode of Connected is brought to you by Backblaze, the unlimited cloud backup for Macs and PCs that start at just $6 a month. I'm going to tell you guys a story. I know that I seem old and wise now, but I wasn't always wise. I've always been old, but I wasn't always wise. And in college, I had an aluminum PowerBook that had some water damage, and I lost a bunch of work from college and my high school years. Some of it was copied to an external drive at work, but a lot of it wasn't. And that data's gone forever. It's just gone because I didn't have...
I can't even imagine a Stephen Hackett that wouldn't have 25 redundant backups.
This is why I am the way I am. This moment changed my life. And I'm here to tell you that you don't have to go through the pain I did, because Backblaze would have saved my bacon, but I didn't have a backup. And you can embrace the security with a free trial, 15-day free trial with no credit card required by going to backblaze.com/connected. Backblaze backs up documents, music, photos, videos, drawings, projects, everything that's important to you on your computer. And it's not just locked away in the cloud somewhere. If you need access to those files, say you're on the go and you need a Pages document that you know is on your iMac, but you're at the beach, you can log in with their super easy mobile app and access that data and pull it down right on your phone. Backblaze has backed up over 750 petabytes and counting. That's 750 million gigabytes. That's a lot of data. These guys simply know their stuff. So don't be like young Steven. Go to backblaze.com/connected for your unrestricted free trial and to let Backblaze know you heard about them here on Connected. That's backblaze.com/connected. Go there now. Thank you to Backblaze for saving us from countless day disasters and for their support of this show and Relay FM.
It's hard for me to imagine that you were ever young.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's possible.
It was a long time ago.
No one should be like young Steven. It's just like a good life lesson.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in the 50s, you didn't have computers. So it makes sense that you didn't have a backup.
Yeah. Well, I said computers, I meant stone tablets, but, you got to kind of fit it into the ad read, Okay, tiny topic number 0, for some reason. I spoke a long time ago about how my Instagram ads thought that I, quite frankly, was a woman and had lots of products designed and pitched to women in my Instagram. And we kind of came up with the idea that I don't have a Facebook account. My wife and I both use Instagram, obviously from the same IP address, and they've just mixed us up with lack of outside data. And for Lent this year, my wife and I gave up Instagram. We uninstalled it from our phones. I have returned, but she has not. She, I think, is leaving Instagram behind. And this has fixed my ads. My ads are now super relevant because I guess they'll only see my account activity at this IP address, if our theory holds up to how this was working. So I owe my wife a big thank you that I'm getting better ads on Instagram.
That's so weird.
Weird, right? It's so weird,
It's
but
really
I think
weird.
it fits in with how we assumed it was working. So
Yeah, that it couldn't pull from Facebook, I guess. But I wonder where it's getting information about me from, because I don't use my Facebook account.
But is your Instagram account? But they're tied together, and so they have basic biographical information about you, that you're a certain age, a certain gender, you live in a certain place. So
I think that for me, most of it is episode 219, by the way, when Steven spoke about this. If you want to get a bit more context, you can do that. I think for me, it's like it is pulling a lot, which is probably now is for you, from the accounts that I follow on Instagram. Right, I wouldn't be surprised if it like goes to that as a second tier if it's not getting enough data from you about Facebook. But for you, it was pulling from the closest Facebook source that you could get to, and it's not. And again, like I reckon I don't have this problem because Adina uses Facebook, but she doesn't have the app installed. She just uses the web browser because she doesn't like the Facebook app. So
yeah, it's terrible.
That might be what's going on. But that is super interesting. It's
weird.
I guess congratulations.
I guess it's a lot of ads for things that are very relevant to my interest all of a sudden. So
how was it to give up? How long was it? Like 30 days?
Yeah, however long Lent is.
And what did that mean? Did that mean not using it or just not posting?
Yeah, we uninstalled it from our phones. And I think at one point I looked in the browser because someone sent me a link to something they wanted me to see, which I was fine with. But it was weird. I definitely missed it, and I don't think she did. So I don't think she's coming back. Which means she's now on no social media because she's also abandoned her Twitter account. So
damn.
Yeah, good for her.
If a tree fall in the woods or something, right?
That's right. I mean, if you don't get a retweet, how do you know your feelings are real?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Validation.
It got dark. Tiny topic number 1. We're taking a trip down to Dongletown. Anchor has made a super weird dongle.
This is my favorite stupid dongle.
Please explain this, because I read this and I'm still not sure I understand why.
It makes way less sense when you see the images that Anchor provided to websites. Because the images that Anchor provided to websites is a MacBook Pro with a dongle coming from the USB-C port to which Apple's Lightning earbuds are connected to. Mm-hmm. It is a Lightning to USB-C audio dongle. So when you look at the images that are in the Verge blog post, which were, as I say, provided by Anchor, I looked at it and I'm like, why does anybody want this product? Who needs to use their Lightning headphones that badly that they would pay $30 to be able to do so? Now, Anchor is saying that, again, I don't know why they provide the images that they give. The dongle is actually really for the iPad Pro.
Yeah, show that in your images.
Which makes a little bit more sense, but I still think that it's like...
So if I travel, so when I travel, I obviously take my AirPods. But as we've discussed, AirPods are not good on planes. And so I bring my regular headphones that I'm wearing now. Mm-hmm. And it means I have two adapters now. I have a Lightning version of it and a USB-C version of it. So I can use it with my phone, my iPad. But I guess if I had Lightning headphones, I could just get away with one adapter. But like, I don't even know where my Lightning headphones are. I think I used them one time.
But see, I feel like at that point, though, you're better off with... because I guess the iPhone's the problem, isn't it? Because I'm thinking like any other headphones. But the iPhone, you would still need a Lightning adapter for that. But anyway, this is just like the weirdest friggin' dongle because it's Lightning to USB-C for audio only, but all of the images show laptops. And I love the thought of somebody getting this whole setup just for their laptop. What a weird world we live in. We have remained in the depths of dongle town for way longer than I thought we would.
We're in the dongle sewer at this point.
Like, it's bad. Like, it's the USB-C situation still not really clearing up. If the iPhone would move to USB-C, everything would get easier.
Yes, it should be there. Okay. If you buy this, please let us know with the hashtag Weird Dongle.
Why do we need to hashtag every single topic now? You feel like you're some kind of live TV event.
Because we're trying to, make podcasts viral, and hashtags are the best way to do it. I have some sad news. The best color of the iPhone XR, being blue, is rumored to be going away with 2019's version of the phone, which I've seen called XR2. I've seen called 11R, which is weird.
That'll be 11R.
Yeah, I think 11 is weird. Like, I don't know what they're going to do.
What if it's like 10RS?
That'd be exciting.
10RS.
Yeah.
That sounds like IRS, which is not a good name.
I like it.
The iPhone IRS. Uh-huh. So Mark Gurman, along with others, have surfaced color samples. What this looks like is like someone smashed a bunch of iMacs, and there's like broken pieces of colored plastic everywhere.
Yeah, well, what it looks like to me is like these are somebody's either broken these off of plates or they're like broken samples of the glass that's going to go on the phones, right? Because some of them have got these weird like corners to them, which clearly look like the corners of a phone.
Mm-hmm. Mm. But it's strange.
So the colors are, what are they? Like white, silver, or like white, yellow, red, purple, black, and green are the colors. So they've removed coral and blue, which in my opinion are the only two good colors.
The blue is incredible. And
the blue's great. I love the coral. And
it's good too.
The coral's divisive, but I like the coral. But I do like the idea of a purple phone.
Yeah, so the new ones would be purple and green, replacing coral and blue to kind of get that into one sentence. The green is fine, I guess. I think the lavender, as they call it, would do well.
The yellow is bad.
The yellow is bad. The yellow is bad. So we'll see. I would be sad if blue goes away because I really like the blue 10R that I had, but I still think about it all the time. But
oh yeah, you did have a 10R for a while.
Yeah, I used it for like a month.
You went crazy and you bought all the new iPhones.
Yeah, I'm using a 10S. Because I got rid of my Macs after that experiment. But
oh my God,
that was a great profit to me because Steven gave me his old 10S Max battery case. So I was the real winner of that whole thing. That battery case is big. I used it for the first time this weekend.
Oh yeah, dude. It makes the Max real bulky.
It's a big boy. It's very heavy at that point.
Yeah.
But it's good though. Like that smart battery case, it's very clever, right? Like it worked. I mean, news flash. But yeah, like I like it. It's like it's a nice little piece of technology. But I don't like where the lightning port goes in. It's in a weird position, like it's way too low down, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. Like the getting in and out is easier than the regular cases, which is kind of funny.
It's very floppy at the top.
Yeah.
But I use the battery case anytime I travel, and it's fantastic. But I mean, and Federico, are you still using it every day?
Still every day.
Why do you need... Okay, I've wanted to ask you this.
I'm just so used to it.
You work at home. Like, what are you doing with your phone that you need the battery case on it every day?
Well, it's not like I never leave the house.
What's that like?
First of all, yeah, you open the door and you walk outside, yes.
Huh. Outside?
Yeah. Can be weird for some people.
Weird.
I just don't like that when it's like 11 p.m. or midnight, without the battery case, I would get the red battery icon on my phone. And I just don't like it. I don't like the idea that I have to charge my phone, but I'm still not going to bed. Also, that's a problem when I need to take screenshots, for example, if I'm working late.
Yeah, screenshot patrol.
I just cannot accept the fact that one of my screenshots would have a red battery indicator. That would be a sin for me.
Wow.
Don't you have like systems to clean that stuff up though?
I used to. I don't do it anymore. It's not worth it.
We talked about this 100 years ago, and we used to have... I'm trying to log in. We used to have a Tumblr where we booked screenshots of people, like phones with bad battery life, but I think that died.
I just don't like being shamed by my phone when it's 11 p.m. or midnight.
Yeah.
And so with the battery case, I just forget about it. And it lasts all day. And then when it's 3 a.m. when I'm going to sleep, just put the phone on the Nomad wireless pad and and it charges. That's perfect. Yeah. So, but I did remove the case a few days ago because I needed to do something with like one of those tripods that I needed to take a video. And I was surprised by just how thin and light the phone actually is.
I love taking the case off of my iPhone. It's like, well, I've been having this because I've been using the Bridge keyboard, right? Which I love the new Bridge Pro. I absolutely love it. I know that you're not as sure, Federico, but it's the perfect thing for me. I'm so happy to have it.
No, I think it's grown on me since for the past couple of weeks. Yeah,
I absolutely love it. But having my iPad Pro out of the Smart Folio now, I've like fallen in love with the design all over again. It's like this thing's like a piece of paper. How is it so thin?
It's amazing.
It's incredible. But I have no stickers on it right now. I need to fix that. It's very upsetting.
On the iPad itself or on the Bridge?
Yeah, because all the stickers went on the Smart Folio.
So you're gonna sticker the iPad directly?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I've always done in the past.
Yeah, I don't know.
Gotta go big or go home, man.
Federico, you have some news to share with us. You have launched a new podcast on Relay FM called Adapt, and I would love to hear all about it.
Yeah. So this is a new iPad focused podcast that I'm doing here on Relay FM with my partner in crime. Ryan Christoffel is one of my writers at macstories.net. We've been thinking about this format for a few months now. And the way that I think about it is sort of an evolution of Canvas, which is the iPad podcast that I used to do until last year with Fraser Spears here on Relay FM. And since Canvas ended, I've been thinking, personally, I've been itching to get back into doing a podcast about the iPad, but sort of trying to do it in a different way. And Ryan actually came up with the idea of structuring Adapt around the idea of a challenge. So every 2 weeks, when we're releasing episodes every 2 weeks, in each episode, there will be at least one challenge. And the idea is to challenge ourselves to do more on the iPad, to get more things done on the iPad. But that is not just sort of like the tagline of the show. It's actually part of the show itself. So the idea that one of us, or maybe both of us, we will challenge each other and maybe in the future we will accept challenges from listeners as well, to get something new and unusual and weird and difficult maybe done on the iPad. So, for example, in the first episode, Ryan challenged me to get work done using a custom keyboard on the iPad, and which was fun. And it was, and I think for the next challenge, I have to write and publish one of my posts in Apple Notes. So Ryan is terrible. What you should know about the show is that Ryan is a bad person.
Yeah, so this show's been under development for a while, and Federico and Ryan created some demo episodes to like try it out. And so I've heard a few challenges that Federico set and a few challenges that Ryan set, and Ryan is really mean.
He is.
But to be honest, I will be honest, Federico, if me and you were doing this show together, I mean, you're dealing with Federico Vitici here. Like, if I'm setting a challenge for you to do something on the iPad, I'm going to make it really hard, right?
Yeah.
Like, because if it's a simple one, I know you already know how to do it. I see the things you do. I would, it has to be like these wild things. So I think Ryan's doing the right job in pushing you to your limits.
Yeah. So the idea is that we'll challenge each other to come up with solutions to try and win the challenge, or at least try to complete the challenge. So that's going to be the main focus of the show, the idea of the challenge. And again, each episode there will be at least one, maybe more. We'll see. There will also be topics, of course. We'll do follow-up and we'll do Q&A. As with other relay shows, you can use a hashtag, which in this case is hashtag #AskAdapt, and ask us questions and we'll reply to your questions on the show. So I guess the idea, the way that I look at this new podcast is, I've been working on the iPad for 7 years, and I'm going to talk about it on that big story that I told you guys I was working on. It's coming out next week, so that's going to be fun. But I've been working on the iPad for 7 years. Ryan is also using the iPad Pro as his main computer for 3 at this point, I think. And we know a lot about the iPad, but there's still so much that we don't know about other kinds of apps that people use, or other kinds of use cases for the iPad that we're not familiar with. And so part of the reason we're doing this is to sort of try and sort of get a little bit out of our comfort zone, because it's easy for us, and especially for me, to get accustomed to certain workflows and certain automations, certain apps, and sort of without having to try new things. So it is a way for me personally to try new things, to try new apps and discover more of what's available on the iPad and on the App Store. But it's also a way to prove how all kinds of different things can be done on the iPad and iPad Pro these days. And so it's got that kind of message that underlying, and it's right there in the name of the show, Adapt, which means, trying to change yourself in a way and adapt to a different computer, trying to get work done in a different environment. I'm super excited about doing this. I really like the idea that Ryan came up with of the challenge and trying to push ourselves to try weird, difficult things. And of course, I want to thank you guys for having us do this show on Relay. It feels like a perfect sort of this is the, Myke, if you will allow me, the Pokemon analogy. I guess this would be the Charizard to Canvas Charmander in a way. This is the big evolution of the show.
Why did you skip? What's Charmeleon?
Who cares about Charmeleon, man? Come on. Nobody likes the middle Pokemon. Nobody. So
they're all pretty bad, right?
Yeah.
Poor middle Pokemon. Yeah. I'm a middle child. I'm basically the middle Pokemon of my family.
Well, you will always be the last one to me, Myke.
Thank you. Up the final evolution.
At least on every other episode.
Hey-o.
So, yeah, there you go. We're doing this. It's every 2 weeks. New episodes will come out on Thursday. Today is just a special launch day. So, every 2 weeks on Thursday, new episodes of Adapt. That will be relay.fm/adapt. And episode 1 is available today.
Excellent. We're really excited about it. It's I love the format. The idea of taking like Canvas, it's like Canvas and Dubai Friday had a baby, and we have
yes.
Adapt. So I'm very excited about this show. I've heard a bunch of episodes already, so I know the guys are good at it, and I'm really excited to see what wild things you can get up to, especially as we move into the summer.
Yeah, there's a iOS 13 coming up, so
I'm really keen to see how the beta process affects the challenges.
Oh my god. Oh god. We'll see. Well, so thank you guys, thank you everybody. I hope you like what we've been doing here. There's a lot more coming in the future. And again, Ryan is mean, but he's also a good friend. So he's a good person. He's not really a bad person. He's just mean to me. You know.
This episode of Connected is brought to you by Squarespace. Make your next move with Squarespace. It lets you easily create a website for your next idea with a unique domain name, award-winning templates, and more. Maybe you want to create an online store, or maybe you want to have a portfolio to show off your work, or maybe you want to blog about working on the iPad. Squarespace is the all-in-one platform that lets you do all of those things. And there's nothing to install. There's no patches to worry about. You don't have to log into a server somewhere and upgrade it. You just don't have to worry about that kind of stuff because Squarespace has got it covered. They have award-winning 24/7 customer support if you need any help. The system allows you to quickly and easily grab a unique domain name, and all of those award-winning templates are beautifully designed for you to show off your great ideas. When building a website, the design of it can be really sort of challenging, making something that looks good, making something that looks good on all the devices. And Squarespace templates are a great place to start, but I love how customizable they are. You can go in and change typefaces and colors and spacing and all of these things. You can even do custom CSS if you want to roll your sleeves up and really change the way a theme looks. And the best part is you're not going to break your site. Squarespace's platform handles those changes with ease, so you can experiment and fine-tune to your heart's desire. Squarespace plans start at just $12 a month, but you can start a trial with no credit card needed by going to squarespace.com/connected. And when you decide to sign up, use the offer code CONNECTED to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain name and to show your support for this show. Once again, that's squarespace.com/connected and the code CONNECTED to get 10% off your first purchase. We thank Squarespace for their support of this show and all of Relay FM. Squarespace. Make your next move, make your next website.
It is about halfway through the year, but we're only a couple of weeks away from WWDC when we're going to find out a lot of what the next 6 months, probably, maybe more, year to nearly 2 years are going to hold for us, right? We're going to find out a lot about what Apple's going to be up to, especially with all the software. So I thought, wouldn't it be a great time now to look back?
To declare my victory earlier.
Wow.
To look back at the predictions that we made at the beginning of the year to do two things. One, to do any early grading. And two, to see how we're feeling about them at this point. I think this also will help get us into the predictions mood because we're going to be making our WWDC predictions in 2 weeks' time. For the live, so we can crown my victory on the live show. So let's take a look. We can go. Why don't we go back to them? We'll do the original round robin order. Each of us can read the prediction that we made in rounds 1, 2, and the risky pick round 3, and we can talk about them a little bit.
All right. So I guess I'm first. There will be a new Apple News subscription service for content from select publications. And
you already got that point, man.
Got
that point is locked up.
It's green in the document, which means I win money because it's green. So, perfect.
Why do you think that is how it works?
Oh, there's no money involved?
There's no money. Well,
okay. Well,
I don't know, actually. Is that legal? Is it legal for us to put money in this?
I don't think we want to get into cash prizes.
It's only between the three of us.
At what point does this game become illegal? Exactly.
I will say I have the awards for the WWDC predictions. They are here in my office, ready to be packed to go to California.
Are you touching them?
Well, they're on the other desk. I mean, I can go get them, but
that's not necessary.
They're also really heavy. Well, one of them's really heavy.
They're really heavy.
One of them is.
I hope the heavy one
Is-
is the last place one.
You get to
Right.
go home with an overage charge on your package.
Can you
Exactly,
tell us?
that's the
Can you
real
tell
one.
us which one is the heavy one?
No,
Wow.
just one of them.
Okay.
Interesting.
Wow. You're
Okay.
you're a mood killer.
I sent you a photo of the eBay box that came in. It was pretty
Yeah, it didn't
sizable.
look good. It looked pretty sketchy.
You know. Actually, I did something that I didn't tell you guys.
Oh God.
What size iPad is it?
When you sent me that picture, I zoomed in on the label and I googled the name of the person that was on the address,
Oh damn.
and I tried to figure out if that person was also selling other items online. But I couldn't find anything except for a voter registration database. So that person that sent you the box is registered to vote in the United States, Stephen.
Good.
Oh, it makes me nervous that it's come from a person.
Yeah.
I don't like that because that's not like a shop that sells awards.
It has
like,
to be something used. So my theory,
that's a big concern.
my theory is it's a used Apple computer of
Piece
some
of
kind.
Apple junk of some description, right? Like that's effectively what it's going to be.
So, lesson for your dad: next time, blur the labels because
Yeah.
we young people we can zoom in on that stuff.
Yeah, we got good eyes.
That's what you get for sending pictures.
Good detective work, even though it didn't get you to where you wanted to
Why
be.
isn't he not talking anymore?
I think he's worried that you found him out.
I'm just letting y'all cycle down further and further into fear.
Oh my god, he bought a performer for us.
Mm.
Oh my god.
One for each of us. So Federico has a point for the Apple News subscription service with publications. Good job.
Thank you.
I had Mac Pro ships by the end of 2019. I feel like we will know more about this at WWDC, so too early to call.
Or by
this
the
one.
end of 2019. So
Or by the I this is not in my prediction, but I think I said at the time, I fully believe that this will follow the iMac Pro idea, announced at WWDC, teased, and then ships at the end of the year.
How do you feel about this pick now? I feel less confident. I feel less confident than I did at the start of the
They
year.
told Matt Panzarino it's a 2019 product, and like you can't lie to Matt. He's like the nicest, coolest guy in the business.
You can show it and say it's a 2019 product. It can still come out in 2020.
What I'm going to be really sad is if the first one ships like January 3rd, 2020.
Which would be brilliant,
That's
right?
gonna be-
That would be pretty great. I think
Don't do it to me, Apple. Don't do it.
I think that this should be judged on when it can be bought.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, when you can order
And
one.
you can order one, I think is fair. Because, they could put it on sale on like December 15th and it shows up. Stephen is literally writing that into the document now. You can feel the fear emanating from his fingers as he typed that into the document. My round one is Apple launches a subscription service featuring original video content.
almost there.
Yep.
And we don't know if it's paid or not. So is it a subscription service if it's free? Or is it if it's bundled? I'm going to give it yellow for now.
Yeah, because I still think subscription doesn't mean paid. You just
Yes, it does.
no, it doesn't. You just subscribe. You sign up. You're like,
Don't
yeah, here we go.
subscribe for free. Well,
Sure
I
you
guess
do.
you can subscribe for free. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the RSS model.
Mm-hmm.
So if they do it via RSS, you get the point.
I don't think that that's
No.
true, but I'm still confident that I'm just going to lock that one right.
This is
out.
yours.
Yeah.
Like it's just a matter of when it shows up.
Yeah, 'cause it might
and
not,
TV
right?
TVOS and everything just got updated, which we're not talking about because I don't think any of us.
I'm
could
still
get
super
interested in it,
mad.
but-
I'm so mad.
Why?
I don't
Why are
know
you
if
mad,
there's
Myke?
something particularly wrong with The Office, but it just nothing's in any order of
Oh,
seasons.
metadata's tricky.
All of my other shows are, but like I bought it all from iTunes.
Wait.
It's the worst.
Did you buy the Office box set?
Yes.
Yeah, I have the same problem. It doesn't categorize box sets by season.
It does episode 1 of each season in a row, and then episode 2. But you know how you can fix it? If you search for The Office, I've said this before, it's still the same. If you search for The Office, and then you can choose between seasons. But if you go through your library, that's how it works.
If you go
Something
through-
I don't
yeah.
like on the Apple TV. Why is my library the final tab of like 5 tabs?
No
Right?
idea.
So you've got like what I can watch now. This is in the TV app. And then you've got like the 2 new stores. Like, sure, it's fine. I don't mind the stores being in there. But I feel like my library, the stuff I've already bought from you, should be easier to get to than the 4th or 5th tab in the selection.
Yeah.
I just bought the box set of House. It was for sale for like $20 on iTunes, and mine were a bunch of torrented rips. And it downloaded all, whatever it is, 150 episodes or something. But they're all the same season. They're labeled like season 1, episode 1.
Yeah.
And I haven't looked at it on the Apple TV yet, but I would guess that it's broken as well, just like The Office
Yeah,
is.
there's something wrong about the box sets. Like, it can't. If you go through your library, it can't work it out. But if you do a search for it, then you can pick by season, and then it will let you go for it. I did have a suggestion today on my iPad to watch a show that we've been watching. That was pretty good. Like, it's okay.
Yeah, I've seen some of that, and it's pulling from other apps, which is cool. It's early days. I think they'll iron this out. For a long time, I had heard that a lot of the iTunes data entry and like sort of like how stuff gets into iTunes is actually not Apple. It's like an outside contractor, and so maybe they just need to update the way they do it. I bet they get it straightened out. I mean, it's only been like 6 years since the Apple TV came out. They'll figure it out.
This has only been a problem since tvOS, though. But that's old enough at that point.
So 4 years, 5 years. Up next, Federico said some things that were I have lots of questions about in light of recent rumors.
Yeah, this was based on what we knew at the time. iOS gets a tabbed Windows feature that all apps can implement. I guess we have to clarify, because at the time what we knew was what Gurman said in 2018, that iOS 13 was going to offer apps the ability to open multiple views as tabs. And he specifically mentioned tabbed windows. I guess that in the prediction segment, I mentioned that the design wasn't clear, but the main idea was we need to be able to open multiple views per app. So I guess
that's not the prediction, though. We do it as it's written. Right?
You say tabbed windows.
So they have to be tabs.
If it doesn't look like Safari, you're in trouble, my friend.
No, it has to look like a tab and a window. So, all right.
Yeah, like Safari, right? That's what I mean. Like, there's tabs.
Like Safari is not in the prediction.
No, but like that's what a tabbed window is.
Well, you can design a tab window in many ways. So it doesn't have to be like Safari.
Well,
it just has to be tabbed. Myke went too far with it. It just has to have
I was
tabs.
trying to like paint a word picture because tabbed windows doesn't do it. I think you have to
but like Safari is not in the prediction. Just
No.
making sure. Okay.
Well, it doesn't say it there, but I'm just trying to imagine like how we're going to visually judge it.
It can be like on the Mac that you have multiple tabs in a title bar, maybe.
Yes.
This
like in
I already
Finder.
know that we're gonna fight about this.
That's going to be a bad one. That's going to be a real bad one. Yeah. But maybe it won't be so difficult if it is just multiple instances, because that's not tabbed windows by any stretch of the imagination. So we'll find out.
Yeah. All right, Steven, you're up next.
I am up next. I said the MacBook Escape.
No, please don't use this. No, don't use the name.
The MacBook Pro 13-inch, 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports.
That was definitely easier.
Just say the MacBook Pro with the Ask button. You don't need to use nicknames. Just use. Oh my God.
The MacBook Pro without a touch bar is going away, is what I said. There is still lots of confusion. Apple didn't update it last year. They also didn't update the one-port MacBook. So I still think this is on the table for this year. Maybe not this summer, but maybe this fall they'll get around to straightening up the deal with the sad notebooks.
Mine was my second round. On iOS 13, the iPad home screen features more than just app icons. I still feel good about this one.
Yeah,
based on nothing.
I think you're gonna get this one. It's generic enough that features more than just app icons. You could easily get the point.
I feel like for once I actually worded a prediction right.
Yeah, this is a good prediction.
We move into a risky pick round, and just as a reminder, basically, it's all to play for until we get to risky picks. Because if you get a risky pick correct, you get 2 points. But if you get your risky pick wrong, then you lose one of the previous points you may or may not have scored. So Federico, what was your risky pick?
My risky pick was Reminders gets a major update, and then there's a parenthesis that says, "How do we decide major?" an explanation on stage at WWDC or with the side past that. Not graded. Some features Federico would like to see, but there's not a list here. I guess I mentioned tags and saved searches and that stuff. Yeah. I think I could get this one because recent rumors have indicated that Apple is going to release a new reminders app for iOS and macOS. Mm-hmm. This also happens to be one of the things that I heard many, many months ago. So I guess we'll see what happens, but I feel pretty confident about this. Reminders got its last redesign in iOS 7. So that would be 2013, 6 years ago. I think it's about time for a Reminders redesign. It really sticks out compared to Files or Apple Notes. It's time for an update, and I feel pretty good about this one.
I think you've got this one pretty much buttoned up at this point. It's funny now. Like I agree, at the time it was a risky pick, but now it feels like maybe of all of your picks, except the one you already got, the one that's most likely.
Yeah, this would not be a risky pick if you picked it today, is what we're saying.
Yeah. Well, you cannot change what has been said.
I know. It's in the past. It's in the past.
Why don't we talk about yours, Steven? How do you feel about this one?
I don't feel great. I don't feel great. So I said, as my risky pick, that ARM Macs will ship in 2019.
You didn't need them to ship, did you?
I should have said... I think I've overstated this. I think this is going to cost me.
We told you you didn't have to say this, but you did, and now you will reap the consequences.
I don't fully regret it, but I do somewhat regret it.
It would have been more than enough to just say like shown off or like spoken about.
Here's the thing: I was tempted by the glory because if I get this right, it's going to be spectacular. But I'm probably not going to get it right.
I tell you what. So I'm ready to up the ante a little bit here.
You can't change the rules.
No, we're not changing the rules. I'm merely upping the ante on this one. Mm-hmm. If you get this pick right, I'll buy you one.
Ho! If Steven gets this right, I will buy.
Wow.
Yeah, if you get... If an ARM Mac...
You gotta buy the base configuration, though.
Federico, stop.
Yeah.
If the new Mac Pro is an ARM Mac...
Get the base one.
Get the base Mac Pro.
I'm gonna add to this. No, I'm gonna add to it. If the Mac Pro is an ARM computer, I will buy you the top of the line one because there is no way that is happening.
Oh my God! Imagine if they do it. You're gonna spend £30,000 to buy this computer.
Can't use the relay card for that, buddy. It's got to come out of your own money.
Because what it's going to be, if you get anything, you're going to get a MacBook, right?
Yeah. The one port Casey MacBook.
Because as well, I want to say,
I feel like this is going to cost me dearly, and if I win, it costs you dearly.
My risky pick is that Apple will release an iPhone subscription service that bundles a device, Apple Care, and a selection of Apple content services into one monthly payment. I would feel better about this pick if they had announced a bundle already. However, the fact that they haven't released a bundle could also work in my favor because this could be the bundle.
Here's kind of what I think about this. I feel like at the iPhone event in September, we will see video content, Apple Arcade, and if there's any time this is going to happen, it's going to be with the new iPhone. So I feel like until the September event, this is still on the table in my mind.
Yeah, we don't know anything. This is a September thing, 100%. You know what? As I've said this, I'm remembering like Apple's current issue with the iPhone. I think this is happening because they're doing so much weird stuff when it comes to selling the iPhone right now.
Yeah. Trying to sell them again because they're struggling.
This could be a way to do it. Like they make the upgrade program more attractive by including more stuff in it. So. Yeah, it has to be, basically, I think it's still going to be the upgrade program, but there has to be more in it than there currently is, right? Because the upgrade program includes Apple Care and the phone on a monthly payment, but they need to add in content, which I think they will do.
It's been such a weird year. You know, I was thinking in prep for this show, some years we get a really big March event. They've done that the past couple of, in the past we got the 9.7-inch iPad Pro, we got the iPhone SE, we've gotten other things in March. It's just been a very odd year for hardware so far and other things, right? We saw the video media event, but that's really been about it, really, right? We haven't had a lot of other stuff, and so it feels like it's going to be a fall heavy year.
Well, but the end of last year was a lot of hardware, though, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And maybe that's just the way it's going to be, right? Like,
do you remember the year we were already doing this show? So it's been in the last 80 years or so, where Apple didn't have any hardware until the fall. Like there wasn't even like a cable, like nothing. It was a strange year.
I have a vague memory of that. Yes, I have a vague memory of that. I think it was like the year that the music event didn't exist or whatever. They stopped shipping iPods.
Mm-hmm.
So that's our picks. I'm definitely leaning towards Federico winning this one.
Do we get can I be as the temporary winner of this?
Wait, actually,
half-year check-in?
Actually, I'm not feeling too bad about myself because I think Federico's round 2 could be a problem for him.
Yeah, I think so.
We'll see.
I think you got too specific. You pulled the classic Myke Hurley.
Yeah,
you got too specific.
You really mic'd that one.
As the temporary winner, do I get anything?
What?
No.
Right now?
I don't.
This is a half-year check-in on the predictions, and I'm the temporary
and all we're saying is
winner.
You're healthy.
I'm the
Go back to your
interim
life.
winner of these predictions. No? Nothing? You guys are cheap. Should we mention the non-graded extra picks?
If you want to do them quick.
Just for funsies?
Yeah.
I said AirPower is released.
Yeah.
I also said new AirPods
Yeah,
are
but
released.
AirPower ruined everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned Shortcuts 3.0 in the sense that Workflow was the first version, Shortcuts was the second version, a major new version of Shortcuts shown off at WWDC with a new developer framework for integration.
A deep
Shortcuts
and open
also
framework.
gets folders and AirPlay actions in
God, that was a
2019.
lot
This
of
is
stuff.
very
You
specific.
just really went for it, didn't you?
Thankfully, it's not graded.
You think you're going to get them all?
No.
Them all of them.
Unless
of them.
you know. Did you play this with like a loaded deck? Like, did you know? You know
I don't
things.
share my secrets. I don't know. I
There
don't
you
know.
go. I'll
things.
up the
I have
ante.
no idea.
Federico, if you get all of those, I will buy you Shortcuts. You'll get...
No, that's impossible.
You get an RMAC from Myke too. I said, and got this right, someone on Apple's executive website will be leave or be fired.
Oh, you got that right. It's not like you never mentioned it.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I believe this was the beginning of the year of Steven.
Yes, it most certainly
which
was.
we're still in.
Wasn't it?
I also said, which in hindsight, this seems ridiculous that it was allowed. WWDC will introduce a multi-year plan to move the Mac and iOS closer. Well, duh. Like, I don't know. This seems really obvious that this is what's happening with Marzipan.
Well, but you can say whatever you want in extra picks. It doesn't matter, right?
It's true. Mm-hmm. Which is good for you because you said some crazy things.
HeadPods, which is over-ear headphones, and at the 2019 iPhones start lower priced than the 2018 iPhones. I still don't think that's crazy.
Those are not
That's not
crazy. Those
That's
are
not
not crazy.
It's not crazy.
I wonder, I don't know if they're going to go to lower pricing, even though they did that in some international markets and they sold more iPhones there than in other quarters. So,
Yeah.
Supply and demand. But I wonder if the iPhone pricing stays the same or it is lower, but it's the same price if you add the bundle.
I did not say what territory, so I probably will get
okay,
that.
in India, it's okay.
Wow. Okay. So that's
nitpicky.
Didn't
Yeah.
say, did I?
yeah. You like to win easy,
But it's
okay,
not. I don't
sure.
win from that. It's just,
Well,
it's not
you
graded.
win in honor. Do you have any honor? I mean, come on.
only a little.
Anything I can do to win.
Yeah, I'll give up all my honor. I don't care.
I have no shame. Well, yes, thank you for your congratulations. I'm really happy to be the temporary winner of these 2019 predictions. I appreciate your support. Thank you, guys.
Well, WWDC's next, and I've got first picks, so...
And I have a whole list. I'm going to destroy you.
yeah? It doesn't matter. You know, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
all my picks 1 and 2, I can pick literally anything I want.
Yeah.
So-
well, I don't care. I got better ones.
It doesn't matter if they're better. If I get the points, I get the points. It doesn't matter.
Yes, I feel like we're playing unfairly.
We're not playing unfairly.
Yeah.
There was a process. I won it. Right?
No, not that. I feel like Federico knows things And
I don't know anything. I don't talk to
Look,
nobody.
we all know
Nobody
some
talks to
things,
me.
and we all know what Guillermo told us. This is like, we can pick whatever we want. I'm just going to go and pick my favorite things from Mark Gurman and Guillermo Rambo, and they're going to be picks 1 and 2. And then for Risky Pick, I have to go a little bit off the reservation.
yeah.
Oh, I want to say, actually, I'm adding another rule in. We can't reuse any of our picks.
Interesting.
Can't get the same points.
Okay.
Right?
I think you're right.
We have 2019 year picks. We can't reuse the picks for WWDC, right?
Okay, I agree.
We have to pick different stuff.
Motion approved.
Okay, will you put that in the document somewhere, Myke?
Yeah.
When I tell our friends about Pingdom? This, as previously rumored, this episode is also brought to you by Pingdom, the company that makes website performance monitoring really easy. Everyone loves a fast website, and Pingdom is helping keep your favorite sites online. Netflix, Amazon, Spotify, Twitter, BuzzFeed, Slack, and Relay FM. These are just a few companies that trust Pingdom to take care of their website monitoring. Websites are complicated. We're way past the era of simple HTML pages, and Pingdom is prepared for this. It can monitor site transactions, things like user registrations, logins, checkouts, and much more. Because Pingdom cares about your users having the smoothest site experience possible. And if disaster strikes, you'll be the first to know. We've all been there where we find out our website is down because someone sent us a tweet. Don't be that guy. You can be ahead of the curve with Pingdom. And it's super easy to get started. All Pingdom needs is the URL, and they just simply take care of the rest. That's it. So go to pingdom.com/relayfm right now for a 14-day free trial with no credit card required. And when you sign up, use code CONNECTED at checkout to get a huge 30% off your first invoice. Our thanks to Pingdom for their support of this show and Relay FM.
So you bought another phone, huh? What
Did
did you get this time?
Another late life crisis.
Cycling through them.
What's going on here, Steven? Come on.
I like this Steven's current, like, just in general, his way of just dealing with us is silence. I've noticed this recently. Just a lot of silence.
It's very... Yeah, it really is turning into our dad, you know? It's just disappointed in us.
I, for years, have kept a Android phone around. I feel like knowing what is going on in Android makes me a better Apple commentator, because it's important to know all throughout the industry what's happening. And my previous Android phone was a Nexus 5X. It was a couple of versions behind on Android. It's a pretty old phone at this point. And I did not pick up a Pixel 2 or 3 because, honestly, this is a phone that I don't use very often. I just couldn't justify that expense. But the Pixel 3a, which was announced at Google I/O a couple of weeks ago, is their sort of cheaper entry-level mid-range phone. Hit all the things for me. So it was a cheaper phone, but still a Pixel phone. So it had the default Android experience, is what I want. I don't want my Android phone to be cluttered up with Samsung junk, or something like the OnePlus phones, which I've looked at before. They use Oxygen OS, their sort of layer of stuff on top of Android. I want the pure experience.
That new OnePlus looks incredible. Right? If you've seen any of the reviews for that, it's like
yeah, because it's all I had in my YouTube sub box was like 5 or 6 reviews.
But yeah, it's like $669, which is nice. I'm not the first person to make that joke, won't be the last. But it's got like the pop-out camera and all that kind of stuff. It looks really good though. It's like seems like it's way overpowered for the price. Super interesting. And
the Pixel 3a is $399, so a lot cheaper.
Wow.
Now there are trade-offs here that we should talk about. The 3a is got a plastic back, so it is incredibly light. Like when you pick it up, it doesn't weigh a thing. There's no glass back, so there's no wireless charging either. It has the same camera as the Pixel 3, but it has an older CPU. And at least in my experience with this, I've had it like a week and a half. I've set it up. I did not put my SIM in it, so I want to be clear how far I was willing to go because iMessage lock-in is real. But Slack, Twitter, email, everything else I would normally do on my iPhone that I have set up on the Pixel, I've been using the Pixel 4 for the better part of a week and a half. And I really feel like I've spent a lot of time with it, much more than I have in the past. And, the hardware is snappy enough. It's not the fastest phone I've ever used. There is a concern out there that Android phones, Pixels in particular, for some reason get slower over time before they should, that they don't age very well. If that happens with this phone is going to be a mess because it's already a couple generations behind as far as its CPU. And if that slows down over time, that's going to be rough.
It's fun. In Dieter Bohn's review on The Verge in his YouTube video, he like puts the 3A and the 3 next to each other. You can really see that there is a difference, like, and it is noticeable. And like you're saying, it feels fine when you're using it, but when you compare it to what is available now in the higher classes of CPUs, you can see the difference. So I think it's going to be intriguing to see what happens to that phone over time.
Yeah, absolutely. But, for a secondary device, that's fine for me. I will say the Pixel camera is super impressive. It takes great shots in bright light. It takes incredible shots in low light. It has the night sight feature where you can basically shoot in the dark and see well beyond what the human eye can see. The camera is really great, and I'm glad that they brought that to this cheaper entry because that's really the hardware that makes the Pixel stand out, just head and shoulders above a lot of its competition. Samsung has good cameras too, but the Pixel, if you just want to buy an Android phone for the camera, the Pixel 3 or now the 3A, totally the way to go. It's really made me reconsider what Apple's doing with its cameras. And I think for a long time, the iPhone was the best smartphone camera. I don't think that's true anymore. And I think that seeing what Google and others are doing really shows where Apple has sort of focused on some things and let other things go. And yeah, it's a single camera. So, you don't have the zoom, you don't have the wide angle that you do on other phones. That's rumored to come to the iPhone. But for a single lens setup, the quality you get out of it is really remarkable. And I really give them props for leaning into that. I know you have felt the similar way about your Pixel 3.
I think the camera's better. It's not about whether the camera's better. The images that you get from the phone are better because it's happening in the processing, right? Like that's where Google is shining because they have whatever they have to make the images look as good as they do. So I think that it continues to surprise me whenever I use it, just how good it is. Are you running the current version of Android, or are you running the Q beta?
I'm not on the beta just because for this conversation, I wanted to run what the stock version is. And that does lead to some issues. So one thing that has been talked about in the Apple community is that the next version of Android has very iPhone 10-like gestures to go home and enter multitasking. And on Android 9 Pie, the current version, they're like only halfway implemented. Yeah. So like you tap the home indicator to go home instead of swiping up. And it's sort of weird coming from an iPhone 10, or especially going back and forth the last, 10 days or so. Oh boy, have I gotten confused a few times. So I understand why Google's done it. There's a really good episode of the Vergecast we'll put in the show notes where Nilay and Dieter interviewed some Android executives at Google, and they really pushed them on this of like, hey, did you just rip off the iPhone? Which is what a lot of Apple types are saying. And they basically said, well, it's what people want, and we think it's a really good system. Like, and I think it is. And I think there's reasons that Apple got to where they are.
Damn. I guess the answer is yes then?
The answer seems to be yes. And honestly, like, I don't get worked up about that sort of stuff. Everyone steals ideas from everybody.
I don't care if you're going to own up to it.
Yeah. There's a lot of things in Android I wish iOS would copy. One of which I've thought for a really long time that we'll talk about in a second. So all in all, I've been really impressed with this phone. And the bigger thing, though, of course, is the software. So for people who have tried this coming from the iPhone, you're always going to run into apps that are iOS only. So like Overcast, for instance, is how I listen to my podcasts, not on Android. And so this is a podcastless phone for me. But I will say the number of apps that I use on a daily basis that are on both platforms and are good on both platforms, that list is better than ever. And there are really only a few apps that I use on a daily basis that aren't here. So Overcast isn't here. Day One has an Android version, but their Android version does not support their end-to-end encryption. So I was not going to unencrypt my journals to use it on this phone. So I don't have Day One on here. But, Slack, Twitter, YouTube, Apple Music, which just feels really weird on Android. It's very strange. Dropbox, Instagram, Nest, like these things that I use every day, Instapaper, they're on here and they are perfectly fine equivalents to what's on iOS. Some of them, like the Nest app in particular, which I've complained about on the show before, is actually really good on Android because you can make shortcuts on the home screen to go to individual cameras to quickly turn them on and off.
We're going to talk about that in a minute. I want to talk about Nest, actually, before we finish today.
Yeah, rest in peace, Nest. But, and the Google Assistant, like, is no contest. It runs circles around what Apple's doing with Siri, and that is something that is not good. They're killing them there. So I've been really happy with it, and I'm not going to switch because there are iOS apps that I do depend on, and I prefer the experience of iOS. But honestly, the degree to which I prefer it is less and less over time as Android gets better and better.
It is good. Like, they seem, I mean, I.O., they didn't show off a bunch of stuff that was that exciting, except for like, I liked the Google Assistant working locally. So it's like super fast. It doesn't need to go out to the web anymore. But it was, I don't know, unless they're going to show off more later in the year, it doesn't seem like a crazy good feature release, to be honest. Like, if this is what Apple did at WWDC, I'd be kind of frustrated. I do want to talk about Nest though, because you mentioned it. So at Google I/O, Google effectively killed Nest. What do they call it? It's called Google Nest.
Mm-hmm. And so they were doing a couple of things here. The brand, so Nest was an outside company. They bought it several years ago,
and they kept it kind of outside, didn't they, as well?
They did. It was inside Google, and then it was in Alphabet, and then it was like it's moved around a lot. They fired basically anyone who's ever run a department at Nest. It's been a bloodbath. At the same time, Google had the Google Home products, and they have basically merged those things, which I think makes sense. Like, why would you have two smart home effectively brands or companies in your company? Like, put them together. But I think Nest is going to lose out on that. So like the new Google Home, which is like their little home pod with a screen that goes in your kitchen, that's now branded Google Home Nest or Google Nest Home, or it has like a super long confusing name. And
Google Nest Hub, and they have a new one called the Google Nest Hub Max, which is a 10-inch display with a camera.
That's quite the mouthful. Mm-hmm. But the core Nest features and products, the cameras, the security system, the smoke alarm, they haven't done enough with that. I worry now that they're never going to get around to improving them. Simple things like I have the security system in my office, and I have a camera in my office looking at the door and the windows. And if the camera is turned off, but the office is armed and the alarm goes off, I should be able to tell it to turn the camera on. Best I can tell, I can't link those things.
Dumb.
I can't say, hey, when I arm the office, turn the camera on. Like, why can't I build?
What is the point of that? That's stupid.
It's all like individual things. And you could do some things with like geolocation. So we have, some cameras come on if we both leave the house, but they need more of this sort of like macro control that they just don't have. And I just worry that stuff's never gonna happen. And it's kind of made worse that Google has basically shut off access to Nest Partner Program, where you can interact with the Nest stuff through other services and other partners. And they say they're going to relaunch it and like they're building it to be more secure, but they just killed all of it.
Well, what they're doing is now they've killed off Works with Nest, right, which is what you were talking about. Now it all has to be through Google Assistant. It's all Google Assistant now. So apparently they're going to try and make some stuff better with Google Assistant, but a lot of the third-party companies have been issuing a bunch of statements about the fact that some of the stuff that they do straight up will not work with Google Assistant. Like, it just, with what Google Assistant can do today, it won't work. And Google didn't tell any of the companies in the Works with Nest program that they were doing this. Everybody found out during Google I/O. Google says that they're doing it for privacy, which I believe, right? It's like, I'm not saying that they're lying. Like, I believe them. That's why they're doing it, that they feel that this is a better method, right? To not let people tie directly into the products, but to go through this layer. but it seems like it's making it more difficult for owners. Like IFTTT support is going away. Google Assistant has way less hooks into the Nest products than works with Nest did, and they're not planning to replace that functionality. If I was somebody like you, Stephen, who bought quite heavily into Nest, I'd be really annoyed about this.
I am. And so I recently had a family member. I helped them install a bunch of Ring products, so several cameras in the security system. It's all owned by Amazon now. And I'm telling you, like, if I was starting over today, if I already wasn't like several $100s into Nest, probably almost $1,000 into Nest hardware around my house, because I got the thermostat too and a bunch of other stuff, I would go to Ring. Like, it all works better together. The app is better, especially on iOS. The software is easier to understand. Nest, like the Nest app, is downright confusing in places, and like Ring has got it figured out. And Ring actually ships new products. You can get doorbells, which now Nest has, but you can do motion lights with cameras, like all of these things that Nest they've been too busy infighting to actually innovate on anything, and it's really frustrating.
You would hope that that's part of why Google did this, is so they could actually start shipping products, right, with Nest branding on them.
This Ring is killing them.
But like, I believe it's the privacy stuff, right? Like the Nest, whatever that Nest system was just not secure enough for what they wanted to do, because all of Google I/O was focused around talking about consumer privacy, and like a lot of the features that they were talking about was about, you know, giving users access to privacy. I think Google are really scared of what Facebook has done to consumer trust in technology companies, because Google really needs that data. And I think they are worried that people are going to start to get more skittish about where their data's going. So they just were constantly talking about privacy controls and practices, like throughout the entire presentation. I think that they're a little bit concerned right now, which is good. Probably not good if you have Nest products, it would seem, but like I think it's good in general.
Yeah, so I think I just don't have faith that Google's going to handle Nest well, because they haven't handled it well since they bought them. And I mean, it really is frustrating as a customer, and a long-time customer. I've paid them lots of money over the years, and to see what my family member has been able to do with Ring products, it's like, I mean, I'm not going to switch. Like, I'm way too deep, but I could see if someone's coming new to this market, like I would say, don't invest in Nest at this point heavily, because the future seems so uncertain.
TG, you don't have any Nest products, do you?
No, never got any. At some point, I did some research, but it was impossible to buy a Nest product in Italy.
Yeah.
You couldn't order them from Google, so I found some sketchy guy on eBay, but I didn't like the idea.
For home security stuff, I think you just buy what's available to you, right? Like, I don't think it's worth messing around with that. Yeah, I've never. I mean, if I had a heating system that could have used a Nest thermostat, I would have gone with one. But we don't have a system that can support it. And I thought about the smoke alarms as well, but again, we're not allowed to replace them. So I've just never bothered with any of that kind of stuff.
And like, it's never, if you're into HomeKit, so like the Ecobee stuff works with HomeKit to a degree. I know, Federico, you play with cameras that work with HomeKit. If that's important to you, like neither Ring nor Nest is going to be up your alley. So like, you have to make all these decisions about ecosystem before you populate your home with smart home stuff, and I'm just looking forward to the day where that's not true.
Oh, all of the Echo integration with Nest is going to die. It's all going to die and won't be replaced.
Jeez, it just seems like the wrong move.
There's an article in the show notes that The Verge wrote up, and they have like just this box in the middle, which is just like a list of the most popular integrations that will just straight up die and probably will never come back. And like the Echo stuff makes the most sense, because Amazon and Google are not going to work together very well on this. So that's all going to die. So the ability to adjust the thermostat, display the Nest camera feeds on the show, like that's all going away.
Good times.
Thanks, Google.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for the phone, but please fix Nest. Does that do it? Are we done?
I think so.
Feels like a show. If you want to find links to stuff we spoke about this week, if you want to learn more about iTunes programs, you want to read about weird dongles, you can find links over on the website, relay.fm/connected/243. They're also in your iPad or your iPhone or Android or whatever podcast client you're using. They're probably in there
It's
too.
interesting that you went to iPad first.
Yeah, well, I meant to say podcast client, but then iPad came out, so I was trying to like save the sentence, but now we've drawn a lot of attention to
iPad
it.
client.
iPad client. If you beat Warren Buffett's score, please tweet with the hashtag
Beat Buffett.
Let us know about that. And what else could you do? If you're ever on the website, you can send us an email with feedback or follow-up. Those are always welcome. You can also send us...
You can find Adapt there. Relay.fm/adapt, Federico's new show.
That is true.
Beautiful orange artwork that's awesome. So go check out Adapt. It's really good. Go check it
I
out.
challenge all of Connector's listeners to go and listen to it.
Yes.
Cowards.
Calling you out. You can give us feedback on Twitter. You can find Myke there as IMYKE. And Myke spends his days podcasting at relay.fm/shows. You can find a bunch of stuff Myke does there. You can find Federico on Twitter as well at Viticci, VITICCI. He is the editor-in-chief of MacStories.net, where some very exciting things happening next week. Stay tuned. Make it your homepage. Just make it your homepage and you won't miss it.
Okay, let me do that.
Yeah, why would you want to use
Max.
Google? Why would you want to use Google?
Can I make it my own page?
as your
How do you do
homepage?
that in Chrome?
Preferences somewhere. Anyways, go do that. You can find me on Twitter as ISMH, and I write 512pixels.net. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Backblaze, Squarespace, and Pingdom. And until next week, gentlemen, say goodbye.
Arrivederci.
Cheerio.
Adios.